A baby's cry tears through the mansion's silence like an emergency siren. It's been over 3 hours, and the sound hasn't stopped, echoing through the cold corridors of the colonial-style house, climbing the polished oak staircase to the bedrooms upstairs. Lauren Moore, 24, is scrubbing the same patch of floor for the 4th time, the damp cloth nearly dry. Her hands are rough and calloused, but what truly hurts is the knot in her chest that tightens with every passing second. That cry is pressing on a wound that still bleeds. Upstairs, 2-month-old Michael is curled up in his crib. His tiny face is red and sweaty, his eyes half open in silent desperation. The bottle beside him has already soured. The sharp, rancid smell is almost unbearable in the stifling heat of the American summer. The hired nanny, Amber Lewis, had left saying she was going to buy a special formula, but she hasn't come back. Lauren knows she lied. She overheard her on the phone. Amber went to the mall with friends. In the downstairs study, Daniel Harris is on a video call with executives from Japan. He speaks in a flat, mechanical voice, his tired eyes fixed on the screen, trying to block out his son's cries. On the desk, a photo of Helena, his late wife, seems to watch him with quiet sorrow. "Mr. Harris, do you confirm the investment?" "Yes, go ahead," he replies automatically. Michael's crying begins to fade. That's when it becomes dangerous. Lauren drops the cloth and bolts upstairs. Her heart is pounding like it's about to burst. "Please, let it not be too late," she murmurs as she hurries down the hallway. When she opens the bedroom door, the sight freezes her in place. Michael is gasping, his skin hot, his lips cracked. His tiny mouth moves as if desperately searching for food. Lauren rushes forward and scoops him into her arms. And in that moment, something inside her breaks. The grief of losing her own baby just 6 weeks ago collides with the urgent need to save this little boy. Lauren holds Michael gently, but the baby is far too weak. His thin little arms tremble. His eyes move slowly, unfocused. She feels the heat radiating from his tiny body. "Oh, God, you're burning up, little one," she whispers, rocking him in her arms. Michael sucks at the air in desperate hunger. The sour bottle in the corner of the crib is a threat, not a solution. "No, this will hurt you." She tosses it into the bathroom sink, the plastic clattering against the porcelain. She sits down in the nursing chair. Her own breasts ache. They still produce milk. They still weep with her. She hesitates, heart at war with itself. "I can't do this. I can't," she murmurs, but instinct wins. With trembling hands, she unbuttons her blouse. When her breast touches the baby's lips, he latches on with surprising strength, sucking as if his life depends on it. And it does. The silence that follows is absolute. Peace settles over the room like a quiet miracle. Lauren closes her eyes, tears slipping freely down her cheeks. "Yes, that's it. My love, you're safe now," she whispers, stroking Michael's damp hair. She feels something she hasn't felt since her own child's death. Usefulness, belonging, love. Each pull from the baby is a silent scream for survival, and she receives it with her whole being. In that unspoken exchange of pain and healing, a bond begins to form. She loses track of time. Only the peace in his eyes matters. Meanwhile, downstairs, Daniel finally ends the call. "We'll pick this up tomorrow. Thank you, gentlemen." He shuts his laptop and leans back in his chair. That's when he notices silence. The crying has stopped. A strange unease creeps in. He stands, climbing the stairs slowly, the carpet muffling his steps. When he opens Michael's bedroom door, he freezes. Lauren is sitting in the chair, nursing his son. "What the hell is going on here?" The words spill out before he can think, his deep voice slicing through the moment. Lauren jumps, instinctively covering her breast with the nearest cloth. Michael keeps nursing, startled but still latched. "Mr. Harris, I can explain," she stammers. "You're feeding my son with your own milk." Daniel steps closer, anger mixing with confusion. "Have you lost your mind? This is..." He can't even finish the sentence. He was starving. Lauren's voice rises, steady now. The nanny's gone. The bottle was spoiled. He was dehydrated. Michael stops sucking and looks at Daniel with eyes more alive than he's ever seen. For the first time, his son is calm, sleeping in someone's arms, like an angel. He's never been like this, Daniel murmurs, more to himself than to Lauren. Never. Lauren cradles the baby carefully. I wouldn't have done it unless it was necessary, but he was slipping away. I did what had to be done. Daniel stares at her, still tense, still unsure. But how do you have milk? You don't have a child. Lauren lowers her head. I lost my baby 6 weeks ago, and I still produce milk. I couldn't let him go through what mine did. The words cut like blades. Daniel says nothing. He looks at his son, sleeping. At Lauren, eyes wet, blouse wrinkled, breathing uneven. Something inside him cracks. Anger begins to give way to guilt. Go home, Lauren. We'll talk about this tomorrow. She rises slowly, Michael still in her arms, and hands him over as if passing the most precious thing in the world. Just, please, don't let him go hungry again. She walks down the stairs without looking back, but when she reaches the door, she turns one last time. Daniel is standing in the hallway, holding Michael gently, as if he's just woken up to a truth he can no longer ignore. Against his chest, Michael breathes peacefully. Night falls slowly over the Harris mansion. The living room lights are still on, but inside the house, an unusual silence reigns. For the first time in weeks, Michael sleeps soundly in his crib. Lauren arrives home, her hair still damp from the light rain that fell on her way back. Her mind throbs. He's going to fire me tomorrow, she thinks, lying on the couch in the small apartment she shares with an elderly lady who rents her a tiny room. But at that same moment, someone is crossing the garden, carrying bags from expensive shops. Amber Lewis, the glamorous nanny who should have returned hours ago, walks in as if nothing happened. Designer clothes, perfect hair, strong perfume. "Mr. Harris," she calls out, heading straight to the study. Daniel is focused on his laptop screen, but looks up when he sees her. "You left at 6 in the evening. Said you were going to buy special formula. What time is it now, Amber?" His voice is low but sharp. Amber feigns surprise. "Oh, sir, I went to 3 different pharmacies. It was so hard to find the right formula. I only managed to get it just now." Daniel watches her for a long moment. He sees the store tags on the bags. He sees the fresh shine on her nails, the high heels. "Are you sure you spent all that time looking for formula?" Amber laughs nervously. "Of course. I only stopped for a quick dinner." "But Michael's fine, right?" Daniel doesn't answer. He looks back at his laptop. "You're dismissed for the day. We'll talk tomorrow." Amber senses the tension. She stomps upstairs to her room. On the way, she runs into Mrs. Charlotte Green, the housekeeper. "What's with you, girl?" Charlotte asks bluntly. "Ah, that cleaning girl, Lauren. She thinks she's the baby's mother now. Spent the whole day stuck to him. God knows what she did while I was gone." Charlotte frowns. "Lauren? That quiet girl? I doubt she did anything wrong." Amber smiles slyly. "You think? Well, I saw it with my own eyes. She was breastfeeding him." Charlotte's eyes widen. "What do you mean?" "Yes, with her own breast, just sitting there like she was his mother. It was strange, obsessive." Charlotte shakes her head, uneasy. "She lost her own baby, you know. Maybe she just wanted to help." Amber keeps her tone of fake concern. "Exactly. Women who lose children, they get, emotionally unstable. What if she's trying to replace her baby with Michael?" Charlotte doesn't answer, but the seed is already planted. The next morning, Amber wastes no time. She heads to the kitchen and finds Charlotte drinking tea. "Mrs. Green, can I tell you something, but in confidence?" Charlotte sighs. "Spit it out, Amber." Amber lowers her voice. "Last night, Lauren was in the baby's room, alone. She made Michael stop crying. And you know how? With her own milk. I saw it. No one told me. I saw it." Charlotte slams her teacup down. "My God." Amber puts on a heavy sigh. Look, I know it sounds crazy, but this is dangerous. She's getting too attached to the baby. She stares at him for hours, sleeps holding his clothes. Charlotte tries to defend her. She's grieving, girl. She's trying to cope with her pain. But Amber lands the final blow. Grief or obsession. What if she tries to take Mr. Harris's baby? Hours later, the story starts to spread, first among the household staff, then to the nosy neighbours on the tree-lined street. One of them, Margaret Whitmore, who can't resist a good piece of gossip, picks up the phone and calls Daniel directly. "Dan, dear, I heard something strange happened with the new maid." Daniel listens in silence. With each of Margaret's words, his stomach tightens. She's getting too attached to Michael. It's dangerous. For his sake, you need to put a stop to it. He hangs up and takes a deep breath. He remembers the image of Lauren holding the baby in her arms, the relief on his son's face, the first quiet night in weeks. "It can't be," he whispers. But the doubt is already there, and like an invisible weed, it begins to grow. That afternoon, Lauren arrives for her usual cleaning shift. She's carrying a box of baby toys she found at a thrift store. When Michael sees her in the hallway, he starts babbling, flailing his arms, smiling. Charlotte watches from a distance. The bond between them is obvious and unsettling to anyone who believes Amber's words. "Good morning, Mr. Harris," Lauren says as she passes him in the living room. "Did Michael sleep well?" Daniel forces a smile. "Yes, he did. Thank you for yesterday." Lauren smiles shyly. "He just needed help, that's all." Daniel hesitates, but decides not to mention the phone calls. Not yet. "It's fine, Lauren." But fine doesn't last. The phone rings again, and the lie gains more voices. Susan, Helena's old friend. Then Linda, Daniel's mother-in-law. Then a fellow member from the country club. All saying the same thing. Lauren is taking advantage of the situation. And Daniel, who saw the good she had done, begins to question even what he saw. The phone rings for the third time that morning. Daniel Harris is standing on the back porch, staring out at the garden where Michael used to cry for hours. Now the only sound is birdsong, but each ring of his cell phone is a cruel reminder that peace is something the neighborhood never lets last for long. "Daniel, dear, it's Susan. I just wanted to say that, well, you need to be careful. The girl who's been taking care of your son, people are talking." Her voice drips with sweetness, but there's venom behind every word. "Talking about what, Susan?" His tone is dry, impatient. "That she's getting too involved. You know, women who lose children, sometimes they develop dangerous behaviors." Daniel closes his eyes, takes a deep breath. "Susan, she's only helping. You don't see what everyone else sees?" Her voice sharpens. "Do you really think it's normal for her to nurse your son as if he were hers? To sleep with his clothes in her arms, to cling to him like a mother? Daniel, Helena's been gone only a few months. You're vulnerable." He hangs up. No thanks. No goodbye. But Susan's voice blends with those of Margaret Linda, his mother-in-law, and Teresa, Helena's old friend. All saying the same thing. The words echo like a dark chorus. She's taking advantage. At breakfast, Michael sits in his high chair, laughing as Lauren makes silly faces and plays with a plastic spoon. Her gentle voice makes him giggle out loud. Daniel watches from the table. He can't help but smile. It's the first time he's ever seen his son laugh like that. A laugh free of pain, effortless. "You like her, don't you?" Daniel says, not realizing he's spoken out loud. Lauren looks up, surprised. "Sorry? Michael, he seems genuinely happy when you're around." Lauren smiles shyly. "He's a very special baby." Daniel stands, takes his coffee and heads back to his office. But the neighbor's words hit him again like a punch to the gut. "She's trying to replace Helena. She wants your son. Can't you see you're being manipulated?" 2 hours later, Amber walks into the kitchen wearing a mask of false concern. "Mr. Harris, just so you know, Lauren asked to stay a bit later today. She said Michael sleeps better when she's around." Daniel narrows his eyes. "And what's wrong with that?" Amber forces a smile. Oh, nothing. I just thought it was odd. I mean, she's not his mother, right? But she acts like she is. Daniel doesn't respond. But in that moment, doubt grows stronger than the memory of that quiet night. He climbs the stairs slowly, knocks on Michael's bedroom door. Lauren is sitting on the floor, holding the baby, singing softly. "Lauren," he says, his voice colder than he intends. She stands immediately. "Sir, I need to talk to you in the office." She knows instantly something's wrong. His eyes are distant, his tone formal. In the office, Daniel stays behind his desk. Lauren sits on the edge of the chair, knees trembling, hands cold. "I've gotten some calls," Daniel begins. "About me," she finishes. He doesn't deny it. "People are concerned. They say you're getting too attached to Michael. That you might be trying to take the place of his mother." Lauren blinks, stunned. "Sir, I would never. You breastfed my son without asking me. You spent hours in his room, slept with his clothes in your arms. Because it stopped him from crying, because no one else did anything. The nanny was gone, the formula was spoiled." Her voice shakes, but it's steady. "He would have died, Mr. Harris. I did what any mother would do. But you're not his mother." The words hit like a slap. Lauren swallows hard. "Sir, I lost my baby. That doesn't give me the right to call Michael mine. I know that. But he saved me too. He got me out of bed when everything hurt." Daniel gets up, pacing the room, hands in his pockets. "Lauren, you're a good person, I know that. But this bond between you two, it's getting too intense. He won't let you go. He won't accept anyone else. It's not healthy." She stands desperate. "So what are you going to do? Fire me?" Silence. "Throw me out like I'm a problem?" He can't look at her. "You're dismissed." She closes her eyes as if trying to wake from a nightmare. "Sir, please, I have nowhere to go. No one." "Lauren," he begins, but his voice falters. He only turns his back. "At least, let me say goodbye to Michael. It's better if you just go." She leaves with her shoulders hunched, face pale. Mrs. Charlotte spots her in the kitchen. "Lauren, what happened?" "They fired me. Said I was taking advantage, that I was obsessed with the baby." "That's ridiculous. It doesn't matter now." Outside, the rain begins to fall. Lauren walks slowly down the sidewalk, a bag in her hands. Her soaked clothes cling to her skin. Daniel watches from his office window. His chest tightens. For a moment he thinks of running after her, saying he's sorry, changing his mind. But the phone rings. "Daniel, dear, I heard you finally did the right thing," Margaret says, satisfied. He hangs up, turns back to the window, but Lauren is already gone in the rain. Night falls over Westfield, Connecticut, with a cutting chill and a steady rain that seems intent on washing away the town's sins. Lauren walks down the sidewalk with her head lowered, raindrops streaming down her face like tears she can no longer produce. Everything she owns is stuffed into a single plastic grocery bag. What's left of her life fits in one sack. The first door she knocks on is near the Harris mansion. The maid barely lets her finish her sentence. "Sorry, miss, no openings here." At the second house, the woman at least listens. "I have experience with cleaning, cooking, childcare. I can work for food and shelter. Do you have references?" Lauren hesitates. "From my last job, who was your employer?" "Daniel Harris." The woman calls in front of her. The phone rings and rings. No answer. She hangs up. "Sorry, dear. Without references, I can't take the risk." At the third house, no one answers. At the fourth, she hears a gate lock before she can even finish her good evening. At the fifth, a man answers. His eyes travel slowly up and down her rain-soaked body. "Do you do any kind of work?" he asks with a repulsive smile. She steps back. "Good night," then runs. By the end of the first day, hope is still breathing, but faintly. By the second, desperation has taken root. She sleeps on a park bench, using newspapers as a blanket. The cold seeps into her bones. Her chest still produces milk, painful, swollen, filled with a motherhood that has nowhere to go. In the middle of the night, 3 men approach. "Hey, sweetheart, all alone? Want some company?" Lauren runs, her heart pounding like a war drum. She hides by the side of a church until sunrise. On the 3rd day, she meets John, a man in his 60s with a white beard and gentle eyes. He's been homeless for nearly a decade. "First time on the streets, huh?" he asks as he breaks a piece of bread to share with her. "How do you know?" "Because you still look like you belong to a home." He takes her to an improvised shelter under a bridge. There, Lauren meets Rosa, a woman who lost everything when her son got hooked on drugs, a young ex-soldier who never recovered from the trauma of war, a mother and daughter who fled an abusive husband. "Welcome, dear," Rosa says. "Here, no one judges anyone." Meanwhile, across town, Daniel Harris moves through his house in silence. The same silence he had wished for weeks, the same silence that now terrifies him. Michael will not stop crying. The first night without Lauren, Daniel doesn't sleep a single minute. He tries feeding his son with a bottle. Michael refuses. He tries holding him. The baby squirms and screams. Daniel paces the floor, sweating. "Shh, Daddy's here. Daddy's here," he murmurs, trying to sound calm. But the baby won't settle. He cries for hours, until exhaustion puts him to sleep. The next morning, Daniel hires an emergency nanny. Sonia, 50 years old, 20 years of experience. "Don't worry, Mr. Harris. I've seen it all." 2 hours later, she's on the verge of collapse. "He won't stop crying. I've never seen anything like it. He won't take my arms, won't take the bottle. He's suffering." Daniel tries a second nanny, Carla, a newborn specialist. "This baby is going through some kind of trauma." "Trauma? He's 2 months old." "Babies form emotional bonds, sir. If he lost someone he was bonded to, he can react like this." Daniel almost mentions Lauren but swallows the words. The third nanny is Marcia, famous, expensive, highly recommended. "Mr. Harris, with all due respect, in 25 years of work I've never seen a baby fade like this." Michael is thinner now, dark circles under his eyes, a hollow gaze. The scale shows severe weight loss. Daniel takes his son to the pediatrician. Dr. Robert Santos examines him with deep concern. Physically, there's no infection, but emotionally, he's collapsing. But he's only 2 months old. "Babies can die of sadness, Mr. Harris." Daniel feels the punch in his gut. "My son could die? If this continues." "Yes." Daniel leaves the office in silence. In the car, he fights not to cry. He remembers the last time Michael smiled, in Lauren's arms. He remembers the moment she walked away into the rain. He remembers his own cowardice. Under the bridge, Lauren shares a piece of stale bread with Rosa. "The baby, do you think he's okay?" she asks, staring at the gray sky. "Who, dear?" "My ex-employer's son." John studies her. "You got attached." She just nods, silent tears falling. Across the city, Daniel enters his dark, quiet home. Michael's crib is empty. The baby is in the hospital, on a feeding tube, sometimes sedated, just to stop the endless crying. Daniel stands in the middle of the living room, looks around, and finally says out loud, "I made the biggest mistake of my life." The city feels bigger when you're searching for someone who doesn't want to be found. Daniel drives aimlessly through the streets of Hartford, Connecticut. It's his 3rd sleepless night. His beard is unshaven, dark circles deep under his eyes. His phone keeps buzzing with messages from work, neighbors, friends. He ignores them all. On the passenger seat sits a framed photo of Michael smiling. In his mind, the image of his son with bright eyes in Lauren's arms. Now in the hospital, he barely opens his eyes, barely reacts. The baby who once smiled is dying in silence. "I have to find her." On the first night of searching, Daniel returns to the small building where Lauren used to live. He rings the buzzer. An elderly man answers. "Her? She left weeks ago. Only took a grocery bag. Disappeared into the world." He tries calling every contact he has for her. Nothing. No answer. The next day, he goes to employment agencies, public hospitals, police stations. He asks about Lauren Moore everywhere, showing a still image of her taken from the mansion's security cameras. But the world is too big when you're looking for a shadow. On the third night, he steps into a church that serves soup to the homeless. Please, have you seen this woman? A volunteer takes the photo. Hard to say. We see so many faces here. But she looks familiar. Daniel presses on. She's 24. Lost a baby recently, might be sick, weak. There's a health post that treats people from the streets. Maybe she's been there. He rushes to the clinic. A doctor checks the records. A woman came in with no ID. Mild pneumonia symptoms. Thin, dehydrated. The description matches. Where is she? We gave her antibiotics and told her to rest. But she said she had nowhere to stay. Daniel leaves the clinic with more pain than when he arrived. She's alive, but at risk. Alone. Getting sicker. Somewhere in this city, at the hospital, Dr. Santos holds Michael's test results in his hands. Mr. Harris, we have 48 hours. If Michael doesn't improve, we'll have to intubate him. And even then, he might not survive. Daniel slumps against the wall, tears burning his eyes. What does he need, doctor? What can I do? What this baby needs isn't medical, Mr. Harris. He needs a reason to live, a bond to pull him back. Daniel already knows who that bond is. He's always known. The next morning, he takes a list of city shelters and visits them one by one, shows the photo, pleads for help. Many don't recognize her. Others don't even listen. In some places, he's met with suspicion. You a cop? Looking to lock someone up? He tries to explain, but no one trusts a white man in a suit, wandering through abandoned blocks, holding a photo of a young woman. On the fourth day, an unexpected call comes in. You the Daniel looking for Lauren? The voice is raspy, tired, male. Yes. Who is this? Name's John. I live on the street, heard some talk around here. I think I know where she is. Daniel's heart races. Is she okay? John hesitates. She's alive, but not okay. Fever, bad cough, lying under the overpass on Radial. She was passed out yesterday. Daniel writes down the address and runs. The Radial East overpass is an urban scar, concrete, grime, makeshift tarp shelters. When Daniel arrives, a group huddles around a small cardboard fire. John, white-bearded with protective eyes, spots him immediately. You're the baby's father, right? I am. Where is she? John points. Blue tarp in the corner. But be ready, she's in bad shape. Daniel approaches slowly. Each step is an apology, each breath a plea. He lifts the tarp flap gently. The smell of fever and neglect fills the air. Lauren lies on an old mattress, wrapped in filthy blankets. Her face sunken, eyes bloodshot, hair matted, skin pale, shivering. Lauren, he whispers. Her eyes open slowly, her voice is hoarse. Daniel, am I dreaming? No, I'm here. She tries to sit up but has no strength. He kneels beside her. Michael, how is he? Daniel swallows hard. Bad, very bad. He's in the hospital, won't eat, won't sleep. He needs you. Lauren closes her eyes, silent tears slipping down her cheeks. Does he still remember me? He waits for you. Every second. He stopped living the day you left that house. She cries. Her weak body can no longer even hold the weight of her grief. And if I come back, will you throw me out again when someone complains? Daniel takes her hand. Never again. I swear on everything I have. She coughs hard. John steps forward. She needs a hospital now. She'll die here. Daniel lifts Lauren into his arms, carrying her like a second chance. On the way, she murmurs, I'm not coming back for you, Daniel. I'm coming back for Michael. I know. And that's the only thing that matters now. The pediatric wing of the hospital is wrapped in a thick silence, as if even the walls are keeping vigil. In room 204, Michael breathes with difficulty. A feeding tube delivers nourishment drop by drop, and his sunken eyes barely open anymore. Dr. Santos stands beside the bed, watching the monitors. Daniel rushes in, carrying Lauren in his arms. She's feverish but awake. "Doctor, this is her, the woman I told you about. The only person he ever bonded with. Doctor." Santos studies Lauren for a few seconds. He sees the signs of malnutrition, the extreme pallor. She needs to be admitted immediately. But if she really is the one, we might allow monitored contact. 15 minutes, no more. Daniel nods. "Thank you, doctor." The nurses place Lauren in a wheelchair and roll her into Michael's room. The door opens slowly, and in that moment, time stops. Lauren sees the baby, lying there thin, so different from the strong little boy who once smiled in her arms just weeks ago. She covers her mouth with her hand, trying to stifle a sob. "My God, what did they do to you?" she whispers. Michael, motionless until now, shifts his gaze, slowly, as if recognizing something long lost. When his eyes meet hers, something happens. He lets out a faint sound, almost imperceptible, but it's not a cry. It's a whisper of relief. "Hi, my love," Lauren murmurs, holding back tears. "Auntie's here. Everything's okay now." She reaches out her hand. With effort, Michael moves his tiny fingers and grips hers. Dr. Santos watches from the doorway, saying nothing. "Can I try giving him the bottle?" Lauren asks, her voice weak. "You can," the doctor replies, "but be careful. He's very fragile." Lauren takes the bottle. The baby stares at her for several long seconds, as if deciding whether to trust. Then slowly, he opens his mouth. The sound of the liquid being drawn is the most beautiful sound Daniel has ever heard. Michael drinks, slowly, pauses to look at Lauren, then drinks again. She holds him as though he's made of glass. "Slowly, my boy, no rush." Michael rests his face against her chest and falls asleep. "He's sleeping," she whispers, almost in disbelief. Dr. Santos smiles. It's the first real sleep he's had in days. Daniel stands in the doorway, his eyes wet, his mouth trembling. "Lauren," he begins. She doesn't look at him. She keeps stroking the baby's hair. "I know I don't deserve it, but I need to ask for your forgiveness." She takes a deep breath. "Not now, Daniel. But I did this for Michael, not for you." Her voice is steady. "But if you want to fix anything, start with him." Daniel nods, feeling the weight of every word. "I'll take care of him. And of you, too." She turns her face away. "Don't promise what you can't keep." Silence. Dr. Santos steps in. "Time's up. Let's prepare both of them for admission." Daniel pushes Lauren's wheelchair down the hallway. "You'll come back with us. Home? Not for you, for Michael. Only for him." "I know," Daniel says, "and that's all that matters." She breathes deeply, closes her eyes for a moment. "If you hurt me again, Daniel, I'll disappear with this boy, and you'll never see us again." Daniel swallows hard. "I understand. It's good you do." And for the first time in a long time, Michael sleeps without crying. 2 weeks after the hospital stay, the Harris house feels different. The lights are softer. The hallways no longer echo with emptiness or with crying. The days are still long, but the nights are calmer. And the silence now doesn't hurt anymore. It soothes. Lauren is back in the small room at the back of the house. Michael sleeps more often, eats well, has gained weight. The pediatrician visits twice a week. Every time he sees the baby's progress, he says the same thing. This boy has been reborn. Daniel, now without a tie, more present, more human, tries to talk to Lauren every day. But she answers with only the basics, kind but guarded. "Good morning. Good morning." How did he sleep? Peacefully. It's Mrs. Charlotte who notices the change the most. "Girl, Mr. Harris is trying, you know that, right?" "I know, Mrs. Green, but trust doesn't come back overnight." "You love that baby." "With all my heart." "And his father?" Lauren takes a deep breath. She doesn't answer. On Sunday morning, Daniel is putting Michael in his high chair in the kitchen. The baby claps his little hands excitedly when he sees Lauren walk in. "Mama!" he babbles, reaching out his arms. She picks him up naturally, kisses his forehead. "Good morning, my love." Daniel watches quietly, at peace. For the first time, he feels the home is whole again. Later, while they prepare lunch, he tries again. "Lauren, we need to talk about what you want moving forward. I'm never letting go of Michael, ever again. And if I, someday, am not here anymore." She stops chopping vegetables, looks at him. "Are you trying to tell me something? I want you to be Michael's legal mother, officially, not just in your heart." She stares at him. "You want me to adopt him?" "Yes, because he's already yours, because it's the right thing." She thinks for a few seconds. "And if you get married, if another woman comes into his life, you'll still be his mother. That won't change." The adoption papers begin to take shape. The process is slow, full of questions, visits, and suspicion. But Lauren's conviction never wavers, and little by little, even the social worker is won over. 3 months later, the judge declares, Lauren Moore is, by law, Michael Harris's mother. Outside the courthouse, she hugs the baby and cries, "Now you're truly mine." "On paper and in my heart," Daniel watches, eyes glistening. "Thank you for not giving up on him. I never would, not on him, not on what's right." That same day, over breakfast together, Michael, now over a year old, looks at them both. "Daddy, Mommy." Lauren smiles. Daniel does too. There's no kiss, no promise. But there's something deeper, a bond sealed by pain, redemption, and real love. Amber, the former nanny, now works cleaning houses in far-off neighborhoods. She tried defending herself on social media, but the comments were brutal. She deleted her profile and disappeared. The gossiping neighbors fell into social isolation. Daniel never answered their calls again. Lauren never again lowered her head in front of them. Marcos, the ex-husband, called twice more, trying to sell stories from the past. Daniel never picked up. Michael grew up surrounded by love. And although one day he may ask, "Why did my real mom leave?" Lauren will always answer with a steady gaze, "I am your real mom, not because I gave birth to you, but because I will never leave you." And Daniel, even with all his scars, found a place of peace. Not perfect, but with purpose. And you? Do you think Lauren was right to breastfeed Michael? Did Daniel deserve forgiveness? And that neighborhood? Have you ever lived through something like that? Tell me in the comments. Let's talk. And if this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that true love doesn't come with a manual, only courage. Until the next story.